In this video, we'll be looking at the exception alert system in the eFORMz director. I have the files I'm going to use in the Minisoft eFORMz 6 Projects Alerts folder, and these are available for download at the support page on the Minisoft support wiki. I have an XML document here that basically just acts as a sample exception data file that I use in the alerts project. This alerts project will generate the email when an exception is thrown. And that exception is going to be thrown by the alerts test project here, and that uses the invoice data file for its data. And then finally there's the alerts test configuration file, which automates the whole process for use in the director toolkit. But before we go to the director toolkit, we're going to create a couple of folders. In Minisoft eFORMz 6 input, I want to create a new folder called alerts with a capital A. Then I'm going to create a new folder there called error files, like that. And in this folder, I'm actually going to go back to Minisoft eFORMz 6 and projects and alerts. And I'm going to drag the invoice data file to that particular spot. So put that in the error files and copy it over. You can drag it or copy it, it's up to you. And then I want to add one more in the Minisoft eFORMz 6 output folder. I want to add one more folder, and we're going to call it alerts also. So once we have all that configured, we can minimize that and open the composer. And I have just no project open. I don't need a project open right now. I'm going to go to Host Tools and open the Director Toolkit. So local Director Toolkit on Windows is 400 Director Toolkit, or Unix Director Toolkit, depending on which operating system you're using. And we'll see I already have the alerts test configuration open, but to open that you would just go File, Open Configuration, go to Minisoft eFORMz 6 Projects, Alerts, and open it. So it's open. The first queue here is called Sample. This is what you would change. You would change wherever your data is residing, wherever your output is going to. We usually put our output here in the input folder. You can put it whatever folder you like. Whatever file you're picking up. Currently the invoice data file, if you're, say, picking up a bunch of XML files from your input, you would just wildcard XML. And then of course we have the project, and this is alerts test, and we've configured that so that it will throw an exception every time out. But if you, whatever project you want to monitor for an exception, you would put the where the data is coming from, the data that's going to be picked up, and the project that's going to process it. That's what you would change. This second queue here, the alerts queue, is something that you're not going to need to change except for one small thing, but it's very important. It's looking at the alerts folder here that we created. On file selection, if we select that and select change, it's going to be picking up all XML files from that alerts folder, and that's because all the exception files are going to be generated as XML files, and we're going to append an HLD to it. But if we go to the variables tab, we have a few variables here that will need to be changed. So 3 in particular, SMTP, if you select that and select edit, you're going to want to put your email server that's going to be sending the email, and you want to put a from email. You'll select edit, again a from email, select cancel, and then a to email, and select that and put your email there that you want to send these exceptions to. So just make sure that you configure these, because you might get the process running and realize, why isn't this sending me an email? That's a common thing. It's because you have to configure that as such. So we'll go ahead and select OK. It's going to look at that alerts project and then send you that email. So, assuming we have everything configured there, we're going to go to the director, and the director is already running. We're going to go ahead and just stop it, and there we go. And so it's not running. If we select start, what's going to happen is it's going to open up those two queues, sample and alerts queue, and it's going to give me some information here shortly as it processes. There we go. And if we scroll down, we'll see there was an exception note and an error here. And so if we scroll over to the alerts queue, we'll see that it sent an email, or at least tried to, using the information that I had, and it gives me the whole error. So we'll go ahead and stop that and select yes, and there it is. So if you have an email in your inbox, you have successfully configured the exception alert system for the director. If not, make sure you've got the right emails and all the correct information and the correct files and folders in the right places.